Hello, everyone. Hi. Thank you for joining us here today for another Sparkle and Shine interview series. This is Kendall Patton of Me Organ Content Creation Services, where I help entrepreneurs and business owners repurpose their content so they can increase their visibility and reach while maximizing their content as well as their time and energy. And we have the Sparkle and Shine today with Ellyse Colson of the wonderful Blue Spruce VA Solutions. And Ellyse is a mama and she's a fun lady. She has lots of information and knowledge to share with us and to just kind of tell us who she is outside of just being a VA. So I welcome Ellyse today. Thank you so much for joining us, Ellyse. I really appreciate you being on the Sparkle and Shine series today. And so I'd love for you to just share with us who you are, what you do, and kind of just something about you.
Great. Well, Kendall, thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored to be a part of this interview series. As Kendall said, I am a mother. I have two kids. My son is actually turning 3 this month, and my daughter is 15 months. And so our life is pretty crazy, but I love it. And I am essentially, I am a productivity coordinator and social media manager for life and business coaches. And I take on those mundane tasks so that they can gain back time to invest into their mission, so that they're really focused on the things that they do and that only they can do. And I take on all the other stuff that you have to have in order to run a business, but it's not the things that make you you.
They're not the happy things.
Yeah. And ironically, they usually end up being the things that business owners hate doing because it takes away from all of the time that they could be making more money or spending time with their families. But I love those things. I love creating systems. I love organizing things that within, computer systems and Google Docs and organizing calendars, and all of that stuff makes me super giddy and excited. So,
and Ellyse, because you do those things, right? And I sort of take on the task of repurposing, which for a lot of people is really mundane as well. But we have like joy in these things. I don't know about you, but I know for me, like when I'm doing things like that, when I'm like repurposing content and trying to come up with a general plan for people to follow to do something with this repurposed content, that like I find that my clients really are like, oh my God, I just got to do this thing. Like I had a client recently say, oh, I got to go spend time at the pool because you just sent me all this content that
Exactly.
Like, isn't that the most, I don't know, but it's almost like even better than just doing what I love doing, which is playing with the words.
Totally. I mean, I get to do, I actually enjoy doing the tasks, which is great. But the other piece of it is I really enjoy helping people. And that joy that they get from it then brings me even more joy. It's like, yes, I love helping you. I'm so happy that you're happy. Great.
I know. Isn't that like, I don't know, but I kind of think that that's sort of the way the world is supposed to work, right? So even when I was practicing social work, like way before kids and all that, then it was that thing of getting to see somebody else doing more, better, whatever word you want to put there. That really was the reason, if you may say, that was sort of the reason I did the work that I did back then. And in a lot of ways, that's the reason I do what I do today, because I would rather everybody be a little bit more at ease and a little bit happier. And everybody also work together. So we're all sort of creating this ease and flow is a big word these days. And I don't know. What do you think?
I completely agree. I mean, this whole idea of having work-life balance is really interesting, and people, and I feel like especially women are really zoned in on that and feeling like they can't have work-life balance because they're trying to do all the things. They're trying to be an incredibly successful businesswoman and also trying to be a mom or a wife or a good partner or whatever it is, and they can't do all the things. And they're right. You can't do all the things. You have to be able to have somebody else help you out, whether it's hiring somebody to clean your house or, ordering your groceries online, or hiring a VA to do the little mundane things, or somebody to do like content repurposing. All of it is like there to make your life easier.
Yeah. And so let me ask you this question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we do these sparkling shines and we do them every month. And I try to have like a theme for, I don't try, I do. I have a theme every month. I always say I'm trying something, but I'm really doing it. So I don't know why I always say try. And like this month for July and all that I have this theme that we're all about honoring and celebrating. It kind of goes in line with some of the things that happen here in the U.S., celebration of 4th of July, at the beginning of the month and all these things. So, but also when I think about July, I think about like lounging and relaxing. I think a little bit less. I think like June is like a go, go, go. Let's get out there. It's sunny, it's shiny, it's summertime. Let's do stuff. And July is a little bit like, wow, June was so cool, but let's chill out. Let's have a lot of fun, but let's also kind of pull back and chill out. And in a lot of ways, that's also what you do. Like as a business owner, that's what you do. So how do you kind of do both? How do you do both? Because you are a mom, you have a 15-month-old, Kangaroo Girl's only 14 months. Yes, 14 months. But so I know like it is so busy. And then we want to do stuff with our kids and run our business. And like you said, we want to do all the things, but we can't do all the things alone. How do you do that as a VA, helping other people?
That's a great question. And I would say that I started really honing in on figuring out how to do those things and do them well and not feel like I was constantly being pulled in a million different directions about 9 months ago. And so over the course of the last 9 months, I've worked pretty hard to figure out systems that work for me. My biggest thing is that I time block. And in using my time blocking, I can create chunks of time that I only focus on one thing. And so by knowing exactly what time frames I'm focusing on my VA stuff, I know that then the other time that I have dedicated to spending time with my family and celebrating, and July is a huge month for my family. It's huge. I am able to really be present with them. And that's been something that I've been working really hard on, because I do so much work, in the Facebook world and Instagram and on the computer. It looks like I'm on Facebook all the time. And I am on Facebook a lot, but I'm able to, when I'm with my family, not be distracted by those other social media platforms or the things that kind of suck us in and take us away from our family time. July is huge. We have the 4th of July, and then it's my brother's birthday, and then it's my son's birthday, and then it's my anniversary, and it's my parents' anniversary, and it's my birthday and my other brother's birthday. Like the whole month long, we are celebrating and having so much fun. And I have to be able to dedicate certain amounts of time to getting my work done so that when it is time to go play, I'm not feeling like there are these things that I didn't get finished.
Yeah. And I do some time blocking too, but I have a big question about time blocking, right? Do you time block within time blocking?
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people do that. You do that. Do you love it?
I do. I love it. There are definitely times where it's like you have to be pretty broad with what your time block is, and give yourself a little bit of leeway, or else you'll drive yourself crazy. And the other big thing about time blocking, and this is where I see people who seem to be struggling with the time blocking piece. First of all, you have to try it for more than a day or a week or two. You gotta keep trying it, figure out what works for you, and don't beat yourself up if the time block that you set aside is either too little or too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Move on to the next set of time that you have, or adjust your time block. Like if the thing that you're working on is really, really important and has to get done within that day, then that's your most important thing.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And I tell people to time block too. And similar to what you said, like I talk about, like when I talk to people about it, then I use a word rhythms. I say, listen to the rhythms, or like pay attention to the rhythms. Like I have a family, they have needs. My rhythms at home are different, right? So those of you who are following me online and stuff, like you hear me sometimes talk about my husband actually works at night. So my rhythm is different throughout the day than people, and we homeschool, than people whose children who may go away to preschool or not homeschool, to a school building. And so I have to do like the time, like I have to listen to those rhythms. My kids also don't really like to sleep at night, which is like a big problem for me. Like I need it quiet all day, every day, and not like all these like kids like talking all night long.
Right.
But what that does is it creates a rhythm. So I get up in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I'm total night owl, but I have to, I've worked for a long time to train myself to get up earlier so that when they're rising at like 9 or 10 in the morning, versus a lot of people's kids rise at like 7, 6, 5, 8. Like mine don't rise until like 8, 9, 10 in the morning. So I've already had at least an hour to 2 hours, and that's how I start my day. And I do my most important things. For the most part, I do my most important things during that time. And then, like you said, Ellyse, I do other things throughout the day, or if something really needs that much time, then I'll do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think it's I think it's like a sanity saver. As a mom, a wife, a business owner, and it's like a true sanity saver. And as a friend, like, let's be honest about it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the other thing that I figured out when I was on maternity leave last year, is I would create like 2 different to-do lists. I would do one that I could do while my kids were still awake. So like, while my kids are around, these are the things that I can actually get done. And then of course there are those things that you can't do while they're still awake, whether it's because they're going to be too noisy, or, you know, when I was doing it a year ago, like I had to actually like physically hold my daughter. And so if it was like doing like carrying the laundry downstairs, I can't physically do that with her in my arms. So you have like your 2 different to-do lists, and that way you are accomplishing things and not feeling like you're wasting time. That's my least favorite feeling in the world, is feeling like I'm wasting time and I should be doing something else. Those are the 2 biggest killers. I feel very confident in what I am doing and when I am doing it, because I have thought about it beforehand.
No, I totally get it. That whole wasting time thing is like such a thing for me. So you said a really excellent thing with the 2 task lists, or 2 lists of things that you need to get done when you have your times to do them. And I know for me, I hate wasting time as well. Like often I'm telling my kids, like I have a 6-year-old now and the 3.5-year-old. And so the 6-year-old obviously can help out a lot more than once upon a time he couldn't. And so I'll say things like, are you doing something productive? Right? He's like, I brushed my teeth. Okay, what needs to happen next? I need to get dressed. Okay, can you be doing that instead of standing here? Like he'll just like hover. And I said, why are you hovering? You know, go find something productive to do. Like this is one of my words. And then the other thing, so like I'm still nursing our kangaroo girl. And so sometimes what I'll do is I might not interact on social. I might go on social, but I might not interact until I'm nursing. Then I'm nursing. I give her some attention, and then I can like go and interact real quick. So it's totally like I'm one of those like something has to be getting done, like so that I can be present, because otherwise everything's like, to me, my word is a mess. Like everything's a mess, and I hate mess. Like I can't stand mess. Like it drives me crazy. So I totally get it.
Well, and I want to make something else really clear. Like you want to be getting things done, like you want to be productive, but there's also a time and a space to just be with the people that you're with.
Yeah.
And I feel like the important piece of that, like, work-life balance idea is so many women that I talk to feel really guilty when they're not working on their business or cleaning their house or doing this thing for their kids or whatever. They're just hanging out. They feel like they are in that, like, wasting time space, but you do need to do some of that. You need to have downtime, and you need to just take time and space for yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of those pieces are really important. And as long as, at least for me, as long as I feel like I've, like, created that space within my calendar, then I don't feel guilty doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Ellyse. And that is why I started time blocking. That's why I started actually practicing time blocking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pretending to time block is one thing. And I did that for a little while, and then I was like, okay, this isn't cool. And sometimes I'll fall back into that pattern of, like, I've time blocked, but really, like, oh, the kids want to do this, let's do this right now, as opposed to, wait a second, this is my time to be working. We can do that when I'm done. I only have, X number of minutes left or whatever. And because then I can be present and I can really be there. And the other reason, like, all honesty, when I get up earlier in the morning than my kids, it's so that I can have 30 minutes to an hour of, like, me time. I'm not working. Like, I don't open my computer. I don't even turn it on. I meditate, I journal, I read devotion. I, like, get clothing on, not just, like, a t-shirt and sweatpants. And a lot of the mornings I'll do my hair, like, because I have to do something else. That, I don't know about you, but that helps me to show up really well for my clients and really well in my business, but it helps me to show up even better for my family.
Totally. Absolutely. Back in October, I started getting up an hour earlier than I already was. And I am somebody who loves sleeping. Like, I am not a night owl and I am not a morning person. I am a, like, I could sleep all day person.
Hence all the coffee that you drink.
But so I started waking up an hour earlier so that I could, like, start working out, and I could get in that, like, journaling time, and I could do those pieces that I didn't have time for. All of my time throughout my day was dedicated to someone or something, and I didn't have any extra time. And so I had to make time. And so I took that time from my morning. And quite honestly, the days that I do get up that extra hour early and I do my workout and I get myself ready, my mornings go smoother. I'm not feeling rushed. And my entire day, I'm energized and ready to go. I'm losing an hour of sleep, but I feel more energized in my day because I am taking that time for myself to get my mind and body ready so that I can do the best work that I can during those different time blocks.
Yeah. But isn't that a way, like, isn't that honoring? That's honoring you. That's honoring you. I find that that's a way for me not to just honor me, right? Because honoring yourself and self-care is not selfish, but we're not going to go there, right? We're going to operate under the understanding that everybody who's watching and everybody who's curious understands that self-care and selfishness are two completely different things.
Totally.
However, when we are taking that time to honor and take care of ourselves and do whatever works for us and gives us that energy throughout the day, and we can honor, and this is sort of what, I mean, we're saying the same thing in different ways, but that's how I honor the ability that I do time blocking is a way to honor all of the aspects of who I am, not the mom thing and the Kendall thing and the wife thing and the business owner thing and the friend thing and the daughter. Like, I'm not just doing any of those. When I take care of myself, I'm doing all of them.
Yes.
Which, I don't know, but I tend to think that helps other people to have more dignity and honor for themselves.
Yes.
Because they can see the example of, if you would, and isn't that true leadership? Like, in a way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I also think true leadership is the ability to do some of those like outsourcing things and admit to yourself that you can't do all the things.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you have to be able to honor yourself and say, hey, this is not my zone of genius,
Yep.
or this is taking up so much of my time. Like, why am I spending my time doing these different tasks over here? Like, sorting through my emails and making sure that they're in the right spot, or, creating this document over here that somebody else could easily create,
Mm-hmm.
where I can then be hopping on live in my Facebook group and talking to my people and like being really visible for them.
Yeah. Right. And showing people how it all works together, because otherwise, I don't know about you, but when I first became an adult, right, at the age of 18, I was like, oh, I thought I had to go to college and get a job and then, and like figure out bills. And like, then I was like, what do you mean I have to actually figure out bills? I thought that you just like paid them. Well, you have to pay, like there's all these other like micro tasks that build up to that big thing, which is in a lot of ways, like what you just said, finding ways to work that out in your life so that you can show up in the places that are best for you. If that takes hiring a VA to work on your system stuff. I know Ellyse and I have talked, Ellyse and I have talked about her coming and doing some of my like admin system stuff. Not because I can't do it, because I've been doing it, right? But because it's like, okay, you know what? I could really devote this time to my tribe, my audience, my clients, or myself, so that I can show up more in all these other areas. And I think that's so important that we understand that all the micro things that lead to the bigger thing is really where people get stuck. I don't know, but to me, that's kind of where people get stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it always comes back to the question of like, are you working on your business or are you working in your business? And you have to do both. You definitely do. You have to do all of those admin tasks until you get to a point where you can outsource them to somebody. Yeah. But the other thing that I see happening a lot too is when I talk to people and they're like, well, I'm not quite at a point now yet where I can outsource those things. My follow-up question to them all the time is, do you know where that point is?
Yeah.
And a lot of times they don't. They don't have any idea. They haven't set any sort of like goal in the distance for themselves that says, hey, when I reach this financial goal, or I have this many clients, then I'm going to start outsourcing things. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like this vague idea of someday I will, when I get a little overwhelmed. Yeah. And I know you and I have talked about it, was like, when you get to that point, you were already way past the time when you should have been like outsourcing things.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. And I think that's a really important thing. And like you said earlier, even if it's something like having somebody clean your house or order your groceries online, mm-hmm. I haven't, in all honesty, I haven't got to the order groceries online thing yet. Somehow I don't know what's going on, but I just won't do it. I think it's a great idea.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know. And everybody talks about it. And I know no less than 5 women face to face who recently were like, hey, do you, no, I don't know. But do you want to come? But here's my thing. Do you want to come clean my house?
Right.
Okay. Because I think that is the difference, is knowing where is it that is more important for me to outsource. Totally. Right now, me going to the grocery store is perfectly fine, because sometimes I take the kids and sometimes I go by myself and it's all good. Other time, but most of the time, mm-hmm. that house cleaning, I don't want that.
No.
I don't want it. I don't want it. And I tried the kids helping me. They have learned how to do it, so they can spot clean. But when I'm like, hey, go sweep the floor, they sweep a corner. And I'm like, did you miss the entire floor?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. It's not very helpful if you have to go back and still do the thing.
Yeah.
That's not that's not helpful.
It's not. And that's the same thing. Like, that's the same thing. Like your business and my business, people have to, for instance, content repurposing, right? People are like, oh, you just told me I can do all these things with this blog post. Yeah, you can. Okay. Then they go and do it. And they're like, but I don't have time for that. Okay. So when you find that you don't have time for it, then you make one of two decisions. You continue to create new content.
Right.
And to spend more time.
Right.
Or, this is just an example, or you hire me to help you repurpose that content. Now you made one piece of new content, for example, and you just got, 1 to 2 weeks worth of content, depending on what it is you created. Like that is what people, and those are the things like that my clients talk about. And I'm sure that those are the things that your clients talk about too, because let me tell you something. If somebody right now was like, hey, I'm going to clean out your email inbox and unsubscribe from all this garbage. I don't even know who these people are anymore. Then I'd be like, okay, yes, please. Now, can you have that happen in the next 10 minutes? Because I'm very happy with that. Because right now my email inbox says 500. I'm like, what in the world? I don't even know. And that's just one of my business email inboxes.
Right.
I have 3 or 4 different personal email inboxes, one of which has not been checked in months. I really hope nobody did want to talk to me.
Right. Totally. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? You want to be able to take things off people's plate, not because they are not capable of doing it. It's not like I have some magic formula that will bring you in all kinds of money, but when you are not sitting there doing this mundane task, you have the time to go and do the stuff that is going to make you more money. Yeah. And so while yes, it is going to cost you money to hire out and to outsource things, it will bring in, and if you do it correctly, here's the thing. So many people, when they go to outsource things, especially to a VA or whatever, they're looking for the lowest price point that they can find. And you are going to get what you pay for. You are. And so if that's what you're looking for, the quality of work and help that you're going to get is not going to be necessarily very high.
And it may not, and at the end of the day, it may not be very helpful, and you may end up needing to buy or purchase multiple service providers to get something done. I totally know what that's like. I totally know what's that. I know what that's like, and I'm sure Ellyse, you know what that's like. Plus, you felt it. I have felt it too. People. I'm not calling anybody out because we all do it in some way, shape, or form. When I go to the grocery store, sometimes I only buy the things on sale, or I might choose, oh, this is a pretty good brand, or I like the flavor of this. I'll buy this because it's on sale versus this other one. Other times I'm like, I don't buy anything that's on sale. I just buy what it is that I want to buy. You have to make those choices. So, and you have to know the thing that I say, not just in business, but in life, you really have to know. I think that anything that you do, you really have to know yourself, which goes back to that self-care thing, which we've already talked about. But you have to know that. I know that I'm willing to pay somebody to come in my house and clean it up.
Totally.
That's what I know that I'm willing to do. However, I'm not yet willing to have somebody buy my groceries.
Right.
I don't know why. I'm just not. Literally.
Well, and it really, it comes down to the things that you really need to outsource are either the things you can't do or the things you hate doing.
Yeah. Yep.
And so if you are somebody who really enjoys interacting and being on Instagram, then don't
stay there.
Yeah,
but branch out into a new platform,
right?
By using somebody else. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it really does come down to how you choose to spend your time.
Yeah.
And you just, as a business owner, have to be okay with where you're allocating those different pieces of time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if you had to give somebody a quick tip other than time blocking, because that was that to me is like the best one. But
Yep.
other than that, or outsourcing that we've talked about a lot,
Right.
give somebody a quick tip to either determine what services they may, or tasks, because not always it's not always a service, sometimes it's a specific task. So either a quick tip on determining what somebody really, really needs and how they can figure that out for themselves, or just a general quick tip on somebody being able to organize their own admin stuff so that they can get to the point where they're like, where they can, you know, figure out other things like what they're going to outsource or who they're going to talk to or whatever.
That's a great question. Okay. So I feel like my biggest tip to business owners is to pick one, I want to say platform. So like G Suite, where you have your email, you have your calendar, and you have like a storage. You want to pick one. You don't want to have 3 different places where you have emails coming in, a couple that you don't want to have like Dropbox, you don't want to have and your Google Docs and your Google Drive and some form of like Outlook, Office 365. If you have multiple different places where you're keeping things, then they are not organized because you don't know where they are. So pick one. And if they talk to each other, even better. So like Google Calendar talks to Google Docs, and you can save things within Google Calendar, and same thing with Gmail, G Suite for business. And so they all talk to each other and everything works together. And by only having that one place where I keep all of my business stuff, I know where everything is.
Yep.
And I can search for really quickly. And so start with that. And then the other thing that I would suggest in your email, in your Google Drive, create folders. And not just like one set of folders, but like folders inside of folders. As many different ways as you can see to like break things down. If you were to make like a tree, the top of your tree is like your big folder, and then you have a couple more little folders and then a couple more little folders, so that you can be as specific as possible in what exactly is in that folder.
I love that tip. And I have to tell you, Ellyse, that is a tip that I have been using since I was probably 13 and started actually using computers. I still to this day have, like, so people talk about like how to, I don't see it quite as much, but sometimes I still do, like how to clear your desktop. I'm like, are you talking about your actual desk? Because then I might be interested. If you're talking about the computer, I have like 10 things maybe on my desktop. I only have certain things. And I find that I actually try to even weed that out even more because I don't use it, mostly because I never turn off my computer. So I always have everything open. Or I have like the major things. But those folders within folders, like Sparkle and Shine, I do 2 of these a month. I've been doing them now for 6 months, and everybody has a folder within a folder within a folder for Sparkle and Shine. So when Ellyse has a question, or another guest has a question, or you know something crazy happened with the video download, I know, go to this folder, under this folder, and then like my husband would be like, where do I start? I would say start Sparkle and Shine and just find this person's name. Find what you need to find.
You should be able to tell somebody where to find the information. And they should be able to do it without you even having to look at the screen and like and it's like the beautiful thing about that is it's not just for your business life. Do it in your personal life too. And it makes things so much easier.
Yes, absolutely. We're on the same page with that. I'm telling you, that is, and everybody listen to Ellyse. I'm telling you, she knows what she's talking about. She's been doing this thing for a while. She's not just like, oh, I'm just a VA and I popped up yesterday. No. She's been doing this admin organized thing for like many years. So listen to what she's telling you, because she's telling you the right things to do. Don't listen to it just because I said it, although I am telling you, like, she's telling you the right things to do. But we have had a great time. We've had a great conversation. We've talked about a lot of things. But I like to do the Starlight round of questions at the end of all of our videos. And so Ellyse, if you would, I'd like to ask you 3 questions. I think they're surface, but they also have this like deeper element. The only caveat is you cannot, under any circumstances, because I will find out, that's because I'm going to pick up on your clues, but you cannot, what's the word? Oh God, I forgot the word. Oh my gosh. What's the word? What? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot the word. What's the word when everybody's laughing now. Oh my gosh. When you try not to say something, what is the word? Like when they ban books, what's the word for that? Or like they ban some, anyway, you can't do that. You cannot do that. You have to just, okay, you have to, Ellyse, just answer the question. No trying to come up with a new answer or make up a better answer. You just have to say the first thing that comes to your head.
Okay.
I hope you had a good laugh, okay? So here's the questions. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. The wordsmith forgot the words.
Cool.
Okay, here we go. What is the biggest dream goal you had for yourself in life or business this year?
This year, my big goal actually isn't VA related. I am creating a course on how to build your own curriculum as a homeschooling parent. So that's my big goal, is to really like get all of that going. I need to create like a group to get a bunch of homeschooling parents together, and then I actually have to like create the course. So that's my big thing this year.
That's an awesome goal. And I'm sure that you said hint in your head. So I heard you. It's okay.
Okay.
You can totally hit me up and I will give you my feedback.
Great.
No, but I do. I think that's an awesome goal. And I think that's one that that a lot of people who homeschool or are interested, even just interested in homeschooling that haven't done it yet, they don't know if they want to take that leap. Or they're not sure if it's right for their family. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people get hung up on is how do I create a curriculum? What is a curriculum? Where do I start? What do they need? Blah, blah, blah. And again, back to the time thing, it takes a lot of time and energy to research all that stuff. So I totally get it. And I think that's a great idea. So I'll be a resource. I'm fine with that.
Thanks. Great.
Okay, second question. Tell me what your biggest personal change or challenge was. Your biggest personal change or challenge as it related to you building your business.
The biggest piece has been a self-confidence piece. I've always had a pretty high self-confidence. I've grown up with this idea that like a lot of people on the surface, like exterior people who don't really matter, have always kind of told me that I can't do something. And then that's kind of when I like, well, watch me, get out of my way. But even more so with building a business, it has been quite the journey. And I am now able to talk about who I am and what I do and what makes up me more confidently than I ever was before. And I feel very confident in the work that I am doing for other people too. And that just makes everything that much easier.
Yeah, self-confidence is a tricky one. And when you're building a business, it is, I would have to say, it's always, I find that it's really in that top, like 3 to 5, if not the first one for most people, including myself. Like I struggle with this. Sometimes I'm like totally way up here with the self-confidence, and I'm like, I'm rocking it. And then you never know, it could be an hour later, could be a week later, could be the very next day. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. I just did all this. Like, for me, sometimes that happens right when I'm about to send somebody their content back. Like, after I've created everything and I'm feeling good about it, I've done all the proofreading and the editing and just made sure it was right and good. And then I go to hit the send and I'm like, is it really good? And I have to do that, like, have to do tricks, and I have to be like, okay, it's already done. It's already done. Click, oops, hit the button. Like, and go. So I totally know what that's like. Self-confidence is a big one, I think, for a lot of people. And I think it's helpful for people to know that everybody else struggles with it too.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
absolutely.
I think that realness is a key. Okay, last question. So tell me what's your biggest life or business challenge right now, how we can help you, and how you'd like to see that change.
Oh. I mean, the biggest thing that I'm working through, and it's a continued process, right? Is finding even more ways to be more efficient with my time, and especially my work time, and not feeling guilty that I'm taking time away from spending time with my kids, and with my husband. That is, even though I know and I've worked really hard and have gotten to a much better place with it, there's still moments when I have to go do like a networking thing that I feel guilty leaving to go do that thing when I could be spending time with my kids. And it's not on a rational level, it's completely an emotional level. And I know that they're fine and they will have so much fun even if I'm not there, or it's nap time and so they're not even awake. But that, I feel like, is still the piece that I am continuing to work through as I get further and further into my business and my business continues to grow. It'll definitely be that guilt piece more than anything else.
So how can we help you, Ellyse? Because eliminating guilt is, okay, first of all, I don't really believe that guilt can be 100% eliminated, but we're not going to go there, okay? That is going to require like me to like pull out my books from when I trained to be a social worker, so we're not going to do that. However, I know that there are ways that we can support you in this sort of rectifying the emotional piece of guilt when you're growing something for yourself and your family and for your clients. So how can we help you?
Oh, man. I'd say maybe just some reflection at the end of the day, like, what did you do for your business? But then also, what did you do when you were spending time with your kids? Because I think that's the piece that I'm not spending enough time reflecting on when I am with them, like what good things are coming out of that. I'm more focused on the amount of time that I'm not spending with them.
Yeah. So maybe, you need like a life accountability person.
Sure.
Like, what'd you do with your kids today, Ellyse?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody start asking Ellyse, what did you do with her kids this week, today, and the last 2 hours? Totally ask her, because you know what? And the reason I asked, and the reason, I brought it up is because it's such an important thing to continue to build that confidence and to continue to grow your business and to continue showing up for your clients and to continue showing up for yourself and to continue showing up for your family. It goes back to all that balance, self-care, time blocking, all of those productivity. That's all the things that we talked about. They all fuel these feelings, like the feeling of guilt. And I struggle with that too, right? Like, I heard the baby like crawling in the hallway. I'm like, oh, I want to go see what she's doing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm doing this, and this is important as well, because when I'm done and we're done with today's Sparkle and Shine, then I can go hang out with her and I can watch her crawl down the hall again. Like it's, you know, it's that balance again, like you said. But that's the reason that I wanted to know, how is it that we can help Ellyse? So it sounds like we just need to check in with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to check in with Ellyse. How's Ellyse doing today? How is Ellyse doing today? Yeah, that's a great thing to do.
I love it. I love it.
But before we go, we want to make sure that people can follow you in case they are interested in your business or are interested in some other of those tips. I know that you've got a group as well as your, you know, business page and all of that. So share with everybody really quick the places they can find you, and the places they can connect with you. So that, and then we'll make sure that we drop those links below because we want everybody to go check you out.
Totally. So I don't have a Facebook group, but I do have a business page at Blue Spruce VA Solutions that you can go and check out. And then I also have a website, which is bluesprucevasolutions.com. And then I'm over on Instagram at Ellyse_Colson_VA. Ellyse is spelled Elllyse. Don't get it wrong, or else you won't be able to find me. But yeah, so those are the three main places, and then you can also look for me on LinkedIn at Ellyse Colson as well. So
awesome. So we will check you out on LinkedIn, Ellyse Colson. We will check you out on Instagram, Ellyse_Colson_VA. And then we will check you out on Facebook at your business page. Again, we'll make sure all the links are dropped below, everybody. So go check her out. Make sure you're following her. Make sure you're checking in with her, because that's what we need to do. We're walking away with today knowing that we need to support Ellyse by checking in with her. And but definitely find out more about the services she provides. She provides an array of services, and she can be very, very helpful and useful in your business. So make sure that you check out what services she has. She's also really fun to talk to, as you can tell, so hop on a call with her. And for those of you who maybe are newer or you forgot who I am for some reason, I'm the head of the Oregon Content Creation Services. And entrepreneurs and business owners hire me to help them repurpose their content so they can increase their visibility and reach while maximizing the content that they did create, as well as their time and energy. I hope that everyone has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you again for tuning in for another Sparkle and Shine. And I cannot wait to bring the next one to you. Thank you, Ellyse. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciated our conversation. I had a lot of fun. And everyone have a great day.
thank you. Bye, everybody.